Good day to you, and welcome back to Church Ephesians 6:4. The article's title this week is "The President Will Not Destroy Your Family, but Maybe You Can." With the first trial of former President Trump now behind us, it would be a good time to take a fresh look at how our culture is handling politics. I think it's important for Christians to realize that the continued decline of Christianity in our country is manifesting itself in the following ways. There is the rise of hate. More and more Americans show their hate for others in both their words and actions they take. There was very little discourse of ideas, and there are actually places that would be dangerous for you to express your affiliation or views. The rise of pride. It is now common to find an absolute disdain for the political party you disagree with. People are looking down on the political party they disagree with and speaking about those people in extremely disparaging ways. The decline of appropriate behavior towards others or decorum. People in places of leadership are shouting at each other and calling each other names. Even those in the highest office in the land speak profanities that make them no better than a filthy-mouthed punk. The weapon of slander and half-truths, lies, has become an acceptable way of doing business. There is no shame. And it is now commonplace that leaders around the world are often mired in scandals that would have been things of great embarrassment not too many years ago. Today, the leader embroiled in scandal does not shrink away, but embraces the scandal for political gain. What is happening? I believe we are experiencing the judgment of God on a nation that has become more and more anti-God in these last 60 years than ever. No, we are not Israel. And no, I know that there has always been wickedness and debauchery in the cultures of the past. But for a nation that was once closely aligned with Christianity, at least on the outside, I do not believe there has been a nation that has fallen morally so far and so fast as the USA in these last 60 years. The fall away from obedience to God does not simply warrant a response from God, but demands one, because he will not be mocked. So how about our two presidential candidates in 2024? Which one best represents the interests of the God of the universe? Who can Christians align themselves with? Well, you know the old expression, the lesser of two evils, right? And sorry if I just stepped on your corns, but you do realize that both of these men are just sinful, fallen men, right? You do realize that they both use God's name in vain, have themselves as their true object of worship, covet the power that they have, commit slander as a way of gain, and are the masters of lies and half-truths, which are just lies. And regarding adultery, both have a history of inappropriate sexual contact with women. And thinking about murder, one supports the killing of babies and the other exudes so much hate towards his competitors that we can apply Jesus' teaching that hate in the heart is the equivalent of murder. So then who will be our choice for our modern-day king? Do we just throw up our hands in the air and refuse to even vote? Does it even matter? Yes, it does matter, and our vote will dictate which path our country is on, at least for the next 4 years. There are new policies and new laws that will be enacted by the leadership of either man, and they will have an effect on American life. But here is where we so easily go wrong. Our passion for a government that would honor God can morph into a passion for a man that would save us, and that passion becomes a sinful, God-dishonoring passion that God hates. This is the kind of passion that the world has, and the Christian should never have. Take a quick word search in the New Testament epistles for passion or passions, and you will see it mentioned 25 times. In almost all cases, the words come with warnings such as, quote, to not be like the Gentiles, 1 Thessalonians 4:5, or to put to death earthly passion, Colossians 3:5, and, quote, to renounce ungodliness and worldly passions, Titus 2:12. The truth is that no man, even the president with a politically favorable House and Senate, can save or destroy you and your family. There is only one who we should fear and trust, and that is the one who can destroy body and soul. Matthew 10:28. We've seen this story before, and it's been written down by God for our instruction. Back to Israel we go, and after being rescued from bondage under a wicked ruler, they complained in the desert. They didn't complain that God wasn't providing for them, because he was. They complained because they didn't have the same food that they had when they were in slavery. They were not content with God's provision, nor did they esteem him as they should. And as a result, God judged them and killed more than 600,000 men in the wilderness over a 40-year period for their lack of faith in him. The book of Deuteronomy clearly tells the Jews that they are to love God above all else and keep his commandments. He instructed them to diligently teach the children about him and to keep away from other nations around them. He warned them against disobedience and plainly told them that the punishment for disobedience would be severe. But instead of obedience, they chose to do exactly what he told them not to do, and the judgment of God came upon them. Fast forward 360 years. The people demand that they have a king, just like the other nations. So God gave them Saul. They placed their trust in a man instead of God, and as a result, judgment came again on the people. Even during the reign of King David, we see how a man can be a devious, murdering adulterer and the consequences that follow. This is why it is okay to be passionate about the things that God is passionate about, as revealed in his word. But it is dangerous to allow our passions to become invested in a mere man. Remember, even Jesus did not want to be thought of as a savior in the way the world thinks of a savior. Christians need to think like Christians, and we learn how to do that from the Bible. We need to apply the fact that he is sovereign over everything that happens. And if we experience suffering or persecution in any way, it is because he has determined that it is good for us and moves us toward his ultimate purpose of making us more like Christ. That means you cannot be poor or persecuted or overtaxed or have your freedoms removed or have your belongings destroyed or even killed unless it fulfills God's purposes for you. But you can contribute to your destruction if you place your passions and trust in anyone or anything but God. The message from God to us is obey all he has commanded, love him supremely, give thanks for whatever he has given you, and raise the children he's given you to think the same way. So this might be a good time as any to take a real-life check on what we're doing, especially with the children. And I have 6 quick questions for you. 1. Who do your children love in this world? Ask them who they would like to be like. And is that person the one that you would like them to become? 2. Which people have you put before their eyes and ears that they will inevitably mimic? 3. Who are your children's friends? 4. What are your children watching and listening to? Movies, social media, music, all of it. What's going into their eyes and ears? 5. Do your children receive education in a place that loves God? And 6. Do you have regular times of teaching and discussion about God in your home? Things to think about. Trump or Biden will not answer to God about how you did Ephesians 6:4 in your home. You will. Thanks for listening in. Hope to see you next time.